I started my fire and EMS career over 20 years ago when I was in high school. I actually started riding as an observer on ambulances and fire trucks in the city I grew up in. And after that, when I went to college, I became an EMT. So I've been doing this for a couple of decades now. And I find it super valuable to be able to serve my community. And I get to see all the folks that I live around and work with and help out in a new and interesting way. So I always get to learn new things about my community and the people who live here. And there's nothing more gratifying than responding to a 911 call. It's possibly somebody's worst day or worst moment of their life, and I get to be the person who's there and help them.
I became an EMT because I wanted to get medical experience and see what working in the medical field was like. But what I didn't anticipate was how much I would really love it. Not only is the science behind physiology and anatomy and biology really interesting, it's also a great way to communicate with people, and it's nice that you can be there for them in their need. And I honestly have not loved doing anything as much as I love doing emergency medicine. I joined the Falls Church Volunteer Fire Department because I grew up 30 seconds from the station where they're based. And it just felt like a good way to come back home but be doing something different, obviously, than when I was growing up. And I liked being able to give back to the community that helped raise me and interact with my neighbors in a different way. And just really be present in the little city of Falls Church in a way that I hadn't been before. Like I said, what I love best about EMS is just honestly the people. It's unfortunate that we have to see people kind of in their hour of need and at some of their darkest moments, but at the same time, it's a bit of a blessing because you can be the one to help them, and you can be a gift for them almost if you're calm and reassuring and you know that you can help them. And I like being the person that's able to help, and I like being a comforting presence. So I think it's a really good fit for me, and I'm forever grateful to the department for what I have learned through it and the opportunities I've gotten and the people I met, and I've really found a home in emergency medicine.
I joined the Falls Church Volunteer Fire Department because I wanted to be a good example for my children, and because they like lights and sirens. I became an EMT because it was a requirement for me to stay as an operational member with the department, and I really enjoy it a lot. I like to help others, and also my favorite thing right now is to drive the ambulance.
I became an EMT 5 years ago because I have always been interested in emergency response and the medical aspect of it. I was involved in a serious car accident in college that left my car totaled, and an off-duty EMT firefighter pulled over and helped me during the accident and waited until an ambulance got there. And he was really a source of comfort for me, and I loved how passionate he was to pull over like that on the side of the highway and help me. And so that's really what drove me in the end to get my certification. I joined the Falls Church Volunteer Fire Department specifically because the first time I came to the station and met all of the volunteers, I really felt a sense of community. And I actually grew up in the Falls Church area when I was in my childhood. And I have some memories from when I was little of Santa Mobile driving down my neighborhood, so I was really excited to be a part of that aspect. And my favorite part about being an EMT is probably the friends that I've made at the fire department, and then also just being able to help my community and be a source of comfort to people in what's probably the scariest and most vulnerable situation that they've ever been in.
The reason I became an EMT was because as an adopted child, I had experienced a lot of trauma in my life, and I never have had people there to help me. So when I became an adult, I really wanted to pursue a career that would involve helping others and being there for someone when they were in their most vulnerable time. The reason I joined the Falls Church Volunteer Fire Department was because of the great opportunities it provided me, such as patient care and hands-on training, and also just the people you get to meet here. My favorite part of being an EMT is just the bonds I get to make with my coworkers, and also just going on calls together and knowing that the patient is putting all their trust in you and you have the same trust with your coworkers, and you can work together in order to provide the best patient care possible.
So I became an EMT because I've always wanted to follow a life of service, and that's something that I do in my day job professionally. And joining the volunteer fire department in Falls Church just made a lot of sense because I got to connect with the members of my community, and Falls Church is also my hometown, so that means a lot to me. What I like most about being a volunteer with Falls Church are the bonds that I've created with my colleagues.